The United States and Russia say that 10 hours of joint talks in Geneva have significantly narrowed their differences on how to restore a ceasefire in Syria. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says that while a conclusive deal still eluded them, clarity on many issues was achieved. Kerry added that a political agreement is the only deal that would work for the people of Syria and make the region safer and more secure. His Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, said the talks had managed to lower the level of mistrust. The US and Russia are eager to revive a truce that crumbled months ago.
America has a new partner in the fight against ISIS, and it may be just in time. Thursday, Turkey's parliament agreed to let ground forces go after ISIS in Iraq and Syria. And they won't have to go far. Just a mile or two from the Turkish border, militants have surrounded the Syrian city of Kobani on 3 sides. They've taken control of hundreds of villages in the area, and they're closing in on the city itself now. That's despite new airstrikes in Syria, including one targeting an ISIS checkpoint. Now, Kurdish soldiers say they're preparing for street battles to protect the city. At one point, there were some 400,000 people living there. Nearly half have fled into Turkey. After the parliament's vote, Turkey's prime minister said this: "We wouldn't want Kobani to fall. We'll do whatever we can to prevent this from happening." Just a few hours after Turkey joined the fight, Australia also agreed to expand its role as well. The cabinet there approving plans to take part in airstrikes in Iraq and send Australian special forces to work with Iraqi troops.
Only Iraq can defeat ISIL, but Iraq shouldn't be alone. And as far as Australia and our allies are concerned, Iraq won't be alone.
NBC's chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel is along the border of Syria and Turkey once again for us. He joins me live this morning. Richard, first of all, what's the latest on the fighting near the border?
It's good to talk to you, and hopefully we'll have more success than we did yesterday when the line kept dropping off. The fighting is still continuing in Kobani, and Kobani has become something of a test case for this coalition, for Turkey's willingness to get involved in this fight. Kobani is a city, as you said, it had about 400,000 people in it. Now there's probably less than 100,000 residents in Kobani, and it sits right on the Turkish border. There are some hills inside Turkey where you can actually look down and see Kobani and see the farmland all around the city. And for days, we have been watching, and many other people have been watching, Turkish television has been broadcasting live images of Kobani, and we've been watching ISIS fighters moving quite openly in broad daylight, dressed in black, moving their armored vehicles around the city, engaged in gun battles with the Kurdish defenders. Kobani is a Kurdish city, and the Kurdish defenders think that it is just a matter of time before they are going to be outgunned. So far, Turkey has not done anything. Its troops are positioned along the border. Its troops are watching, and there is an enormous amount of frustration in this country from the Kurdish community. There are Kurds living in Turkey, and they say that Turkey, the Turkish military, the Turkish government must act to save Kobani, that the United States military must act to save Kobani. These ISIS militants are right out in the open, yet they are still advancing under our noses, and it's not at all clear that any action will be taken before Kobani falls to ISIS.
Richard, really quickly, if and when Kobani does fall, what does that mean?
Well, it means there'll be tens of thousands more refugees pouring into Turkey. There could be atrocities taking place in Kobani if there is face-to-face fighting. And it will mean that the coalition hasn't been able to stop a very slow, deliberate, and obvious encroachment by ISIS on a key city.
Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, for us on the ground there along the border. Richard, thanks as always, sir.